Hey, it's Mob Guppy, where the Guppy is the mob. How are you? It's Happy New Year. And for those who normally don't watch us, let me give you a little introduction. I keep primarily guppies. It's Mob Guppy, where the Guppy is the mob. On these live streams, we can talk pretty much about anything. Here's the other thing. I answer questions and I don't come across like a jerk as I'm answering your questions. I answer them. So if you're a newbie and you have a question, you may not like my answer, but I will give you the best answer I can. And I don't claim to be the smartest guppy guy in the world. Don't claim to be it at all. But I will tell you when I don't know something. John Oliver made me one of the people. And thank you very much, Posiwi. Yeah, the deal is all I want to do is just tell the truth and going on. So the other day, someone said on the All About Guppies USA, John Oliver's group, and John has allowed me to be a moderator, which is very nice of him. That someone brought up that you should expect your guppy to live 3 to 5 years. That answer is no. Can a guppy live 3 years, 5 years? Sure. I will tell you is that most guppies live for about 18 months. A year to 18 months. And when people purchase guppies at the pet store, like the PetSmarts and the Petcos and stuff like that, a lot of times the guppies they're purchasing are older guppies. So just keep that in mind. It's the other little note here for those wanting to go and wanting to know exactly what to do with the old guppies. In my opinion, it's a lot of times people play around with mutts and they're great and they're fun, all good. I'll give you sort of the quick lesson on how to develop your own strain. If you all of a sudden have mutt guppies, yeah, guppy sandwich are delicious. If you like, if you want to develop your own strain, which a lot of people with guppies want to do, and I'm certainly doing it, and I think I've got one going, the California Reds. That's like the 4th different type that I've tried. It was kind of a happy accident, and it's turned into kind of a neat strain that people know and love. But, our buddy Doug Gray, he tries a lot of crosses. And that's part of the fun that goes on from there. One of the things I really do enjoy, and by the way, I'll give you a tip. Hey, Chewy, what up? If you're trying to start your own strain of guppies, and which I think is great, and I encourage you to do so, you must do a little bit of inbreeding. So if you have some mutt guppies, and all of a sudden you really like the way one male looks out, breed him back to his mama and breed him to his sisters. And don't let any other male have anything in there. And if the male guppy lives long enough, if you can breed him to his daughters, you may begin to get what you're looking for. A repeat of that. The deal is with the genetic diversity, the neat thing about a guppy is that it's very similar to the DNA of human beings. They have, just like us, 20, 3 pairs of chromosomes. So it's kind of a neat thing because of that. So there you go. It's and there's nothing more frustrating, by the way. And by the way, when you purchase a pure strain of guppies, which I highly recommend doing first, it allows you to sort of go through and be able to produce and do those things. And guppies are like art. How I can have the same strain as 10 other people who raise guppies, but how I pick breeders will probably be unique to me, and how everybody else picks their breeders will be unique to them. For instance, if you get purples, that's one of the next things I'm going to get are purples. I love purples. Is that some people will enjoy a certain shade, and that's what they'll do. And Chewy, you're correct. Our DNA does have more issues with line breeding and inbreeding. Look at the royal family. So, yeah, so the deal is, you have to go out and find those things and get those things taken care of and figure it out. What I may like, you may not. And what you may like may be a whole lot better than what I like. But again, it's art. You're picking breeders based on even from a pure line. Now, I will give people a warning of guppies not to buy. Not because they're not beautiful, not because I look at them as more of an expert type of guppy. It's not for beginners, but beginners will automatically be really, really excited about them. Are the mosaics. They have multi-colors. They're beautiful. They're awesome in so many ways. The problem with mosaics is that the males take a long time to reach maturity. So a lot of times, that's how it goes. And, the red dragons, the same are what I'm referring to, are the dragons, the mosaics. So you have to pick out, and you can actually go and purchase some. Hey, Lumpy Dog. And, and if you don't have a mature male, the male they send you, because it can be 6-8 months in before you know what you got. Okay, that's not that good, mainly because if you're looking at guppies of the same age, you get a trio of guppies. I've yet to keep a fire-breathing dragon. You're correct, Doug Gray. If you're someone, you get into those dragon guppies, some of those mosaics, some of the more complicated stuff, and they send you a young trio. And that male is not yet mature. You may all of a sudden be with something that doesn't work at all right off the bat. Doesn't look good. It's not what they go through. So a lot of times with the dragons, it's what you should actually request for the dragons. Biggies. What you should request with the dragons is an older male with young pre-hit females. Yeah, I do. I have an ex-wife. But I got a girlfriend. So there you go. I like my girlfriend. Lots of fun. So what else is going on, gang? For your New Year's, uh, are you planning anything big? I'm not. My lady friend is at her mom's house, so I'm not going to be hanging out with her. I'm basically going to be here with Maggie, playing with the dog. I did buy a 10-ounce filet mignon, and I like to do that pretty much rare. So yeah. So I did one. Yeah, so I'm gonna do baked potatoes, do that in a salad. So there you go. And there you go. And I'm looking forward to that very much. So I got that. Yeah, so I'm just chilling. I had my appetizer for lunch. I had guacamole with some tortilla chips. It was delicious. Yeah, so the deal is with Guppies, uh, walk before you run. And, just trust me on this. Get a nice pure strain. Look at what Doug Gray has. Some swordtails from me. Go from there. John Oliver has some stuff. But get a beginner strain. Swordtails are perfect, by the way. They're prolific. That you won't be frustrated when they don't breed. They come in all sorts of different colors. It's kind of tough to screw them up. Doug has some of my swordtails I originally got from Alan Bias. Alan Bias, by the way, had something happen in his fish room. He actually got some swordtail guppies back from me. So there you go. And most of the times people buy swordtail guppies is to do crosses. And by the way, I have no problem with it. I've tried it. I've done it. What I have found with crosses, by the way, male swordtail is where you have to start. You can do the female swords with a different color that you want to see if you can go and repeat. My impression has been, in my experience, because I've tried it a couple of different ways, is that the males seem to carry the sword gene. So there you go. Let's see what else is up. I don't know. You're spending it jamming? There you go. It's I'm gonna watch some college football. I'm watching the Alabama game right now. And it looks like Alabama's gonna blow out Kansas State. And if they don't, that's highly problematic. And so there you go. I wonder, by the way, I if you're thinking of an academic school in which to send your kiddos to, University of Alabama ain't it. Not that good. It's not like you all of a sudden go, ooh, he has a degree from Alabama Law School. Oh, roll tide. No one says that. Unless you're an Alabama fan, then that's strong. That's strong all the way around. I lived in that state for a few years, so it's I've sort of moved all over the place. And yeah. By the way, I did receive a call this week wanting to know if I had interest in a position. No. Uh, it's a startup, and you know how startups go. They're either fantastic or not. I'm not at the age now where I want to deal with that. I don't want to go move across across the country for 6 months from now, no gig. Not interested. I've got a nice company I work for. I love my house, love my fish, love my dog. That's it. The only attractive thing is that it's in Miami. That's the only attractive thing. So, but yeah, not interested. I like my fish. I like everything. So there you go. I went to I need to go, speaking of stuff, I need to go and get more stuff done with the fish. I've made a couple of crosses that I there's a reason why you've never seen them. I've not done a video on them. It's because I didn't like them. So I've got to take them. I have like about 4 aquariums with a couple of crosses. It's just never happened the way I thought it would. Yeah, there's always fish stuff to do. So I'm going to go and bequeath them to my LFSs and make them happy. Having water. By the way, if you haven't filled your car up, do so today, because tomorrow the price of gas will probably go up. It's not a quote unquote gas tax, it's a crude oil tax, and it starts tomorrow. So I went and filled up my car, even though I didn't need to do it. I could have gone a few more days without filling it up. So yeah, gas prices, by the way, got kind of nice there for a while, but they're up in Joplin Mo. About since I filled up in the middle of December, they're up 40 cents a gallon. So I don't know what you're seeing, but that's how it goes in. It's the other thing to do with the guppies to be on a watch out for is it's just pick something you love. Pick something you want from there. Hey, do you guys? I had something crazy happen. Let me. Does anybody want to see the hamster mobile? I have it parked outside, so I'll put up the ringarino. And so I was at there you go, the hamster car in a second. Yeah. So here's the deal on this. So today I was running an errand, walked into Sharpie's Fish and Phantoms. Greetings from over the pond. Happy New Year. So the wonders of so I'm like I went to Walgreens and I'm going out and all of a sudden I look at, I'm putting my key in to go from there. I took the antlers off of the hamster mobile. Yep, I sure did. All of a sudden I realized someone was trying to break into my car. They were trying to get in with a screwdriver, and I think they looked in the car. They must have been Kias are easy to steal, apparently. And please steal mine. Steal it now. I never keep anything of value in the car. I never do. And I have a feeling they were thinking of stealing my car, and took a look inside and realized, oh, it's a 6-speed. It's a beautiful thing about Gen Z and the millennials. They do not know how to drive those things. So there you go. So yeah, that was not fun to see. I have had cars broken into, and it's not great. Not great at all. I had one that was broken into a couple of times. One at the office, which made 0 sense, and one on in the neighborhood I was living at the time made all the sense in the world. It was not a great neighborhood. Not terrible, not great. So there you go. Yeah. And it couldn't be at my house because, except for that picture of the hamster mobile, it's in the garage. So it spends more time in my garage than it does outside. Because normally once I come home, I am home after work, and I just put it right in the garage and go from there. So it either the attempted break-in happened at a store, or it could have happened at the office. My office does not have private parking. Well, it has its own lot, but anybody can walk through the parking lot at any time. And unfortunately, it happens all the time. So there you go. Yeah, I see people just walking willy-nilly walking through the office parking lot. So that's not good. And there's a real difficult time of where to park it. I park it where there's a camera. So there's some spots at my office, at my workplace, where there's no cameras. There you go. And I don't know when this happened. You can just tell they took a quick look and realized not to take it. Not to take it. So there you go. It's in beautiful Joplin Mo today. Last weekend we were freezing our biscuits off. Today, right now, it's 58 degrees. In fact, I probably shouldn't even be wearing the sweatshirt. I have something for our good friends Scott and Liz. I have their T-shirt on. Should I take it off? Here we go. Got to take off clothes. All right. King and Queen cichlids. There you go. Someone suggested with the beard, by the way. is getting a wood comb, so I ordered it. So there you go. Speaking of stuff, gang, um, one of my New Year's resolutions is I'm going to finish the stupid fish room I promised to do last year, and it's just work schedule got in the way. This week I was supposed to get a lot of stuff done, and one of my employees was flying back on Monday, and he was flying an airline called Southwest. Over the pond, you may not have heard about this. Southwest Airlines were canceling 70-80% of their flights almost all of last week. He ended up flying back via American. And so it was, so I had to cancel my vacation because the way my office operates, we can't be down 2 people on the early shift. It's 2 of us have to be there. Must be there at all times. So I used to use the metal dog comb when yours was okay. I got those. So yeah, so my vacation was canceled. Now the good news is I work for a family owned and operated company. Awesome. And even though my company is a move it or lose it type of thing, they said, you or use it and lose it. They said, we'll allow you to move your remaining 4 days over to that. So there you go. Good times. So they allowed me to move it, which is good. Yes, but last week I was going to do a lot of stuff in the fish room, a lot of stuff around the house, and did none because I didn't have the time. Now I'm going to have to get some stuff. I have Monday off. I'm going to have to get some stuff done tomorrow, after we're done today, Sunday and Monday, and get some stuff out of the way. Love to get that going. But mainly I got to get the pad looking a little bit better for when my gal comes to town. So there you go. I haven't seen her in about 6 months. And long story, not worth going into, but I get to see her and it's going to be good. And she's going to be here for a few weeks. So there you go. I guess the other thing that I wanted to talk about with the fish stuff as you go through, and here's another thing for newbies. Some of your aquarium stores are fantastic. I went in when I was in Minneapolis a little over a year ago. I went in, I did videos on 2 of them. The fish were awesome. But here was the deal. The fish didn't come from fish farms. They were bred locally by people. I think one of them, it was locally bred by the fish store owner. And they had neon tetras that looked unbelievable. Looked awesome. So just put that in mind as you look at this. Is that, it's, when people get stuff, you can go and buy things from your, you can go and buy stuff at your fish club. A lot of fish clubs have table sales. Obviously, Aquabid is a great place to be. Aquabid rocks. But the one thing that there are some resellers like our buddy John does a good job with it. Most of these, are most of the resellers are coming from fish farms in Florida. Not so good. Not so good at all. Due to contracted hours, there were 7 of us at work today. First 5 hours, grand total of 6 customers. Yeah, fun. Now, I did go into the office today. I wasn't scheduled to be there, but I had a little bit of work to do. I was there for a little over an hour. It's nice. It was a nice thing to go do. I enjoyed it. The bristle noses of stores around here are damn near bomb proof. And the stores can show customers video of the tanks they were born and raised in. Yeah. Yeah, it's these folks that I used to go to a cichlid store, and all they did is cichlids, African cichlids, when I lived in Huntsville, Alabama. And I wonder if that place is still in business. They had fish. If this place is still open. And just cichlids. Let's see if it's still there. See here. I think it's out of business, which is too bad. But they bred almost everything they had. So there you go. And it was awesome. The fish were great, were very healthy. Yeah, it looks like they're out of business. That's too bad. And but was just an awesome store. There you go. It could have just moved to another dimension. You can't find them. Yeah, it could be the case. But I went in there. I lived there 20 years ago, so that's a long time ago. Who knows? The owner may have passed away, whatever. All I know is that it was rockin' nice. It was very good. It was very good all the way around. And it was just, you could see the parents. They had a breeding facility going on and the fish store. And it was just it was awesome. But I'll tell you what, for people who own fish stores, and a lot of people, by the way, have that fantasy of owning their own fish store, and I don't blame them. By the way, I've had the same one. You almost want to figure out how you can breed your own fish. It just makes all the sense in the world. Yep, Sharpie, totally true. And especially when you're dealing with some of these more sensitive fishes, a lot of the tetras are this way, is that, if they're bred in your water, you're golden. Also, discus are that way. Discus can be so finicky, but if you are in your area, you get discus that are bred in your area, you're in great shape. Guppies, on the other hand, it's all about, if you get guppies from somebody like a Doug Gray or me or some of the other people or very good. You'll be fine. It's ultimately, it's with guppies, it has a lot to do with a lot of people when they first get them, they don't realize parent guppies are consumers of their babies. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Chewy. Not too many tetras breeding water higher than 7.4. Exactly correct. But I'll tell you what, when I was in Minneapolis and I went to these stores, and they were locally bred, I was told. Neons. Um, the water in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and around is pretty alkaline. It's not acidic. When I lived in Little Rock, it was very acidic. That's why I used crushed coral in the acidic water. It and it to raise the pH. It's just crazy stuff. Went to what else did my local fish stores, one of them does a lot of African cichlids, which is great. Not the types I would consider caring for. So there you go. My other favorite of favorites that the one thing I've not bred, and I it's on my list to do, are zebra danios. And I know that's a relatively easy one to do. I just haven't done it. And I have all these tanks, so maybe that's something I'll get done and go out and play with that. I guess the best way to buy them is, of course, through Aquabid and stuff like that. 2 weeks from today, the Northwest Arkansas Aquarium Society, they're having a meeting. They're back to meetings. They're going to be talking about, I think they're talking about nanofish. And Michael Gaines will be running that. And that's going to be great. It's he's a neat guy. That's a good group of people, by the way. Very friendly, very with I've seen teenage kids there with just, very simple questions. There's not dumb questions, by the way. They're simple and expert level type questions. And these folks are patient. I mean, really good. Really good to them all the way around. Let's see. The other the other thing to really sort of kick into, by the way, is especially this time of year. This time of year, the one thing that happens very quickly, of course, is evaporation in your aquariums. Even when you're doing your regular weekly water changes, the water disappears relatively quickly. And so it's not unusual for me where I have gone out and done a water change, and it's 3-4 days later, and all of a sudden I'm noticing there's an inch off the water. Go from there. By the way, Chewy, what 3 tetras are you thinking of? I can tell you that, with quick evaporation, that's part of the deal, especially when it's really cold. Last week, I swear to you, last weekend I was dealing with 5 below zero a couple of mornings, and And I went and did that. That was great. Uh, you know, it, but the water was disappearing very quickly. I had to actually top some aquariums off that had just been changed. So there you go. The blind catfish and the regular Mexican tetra. The blind cavefish. Yeah. I used to see those all the time. And I don't know if they ran out as being a novelty type fish. I don't know. I don't know if that ended up being a novelty fish or not. But they are, they're a neat looking fish, great behaviors, etc. So now that we've had, let's see, Chewy's jamming tonight. Doug, what are you doing tonight? What exciting are you going out to a party? I picked up that little bottle of champagne. I did that. Supposed to be blind Mexican tetras near you? I would think so in New Mexico. I would think that may be the case. Would make all the sense in the world. Just watching Svengoolie episodes you recorded. There you go. Making sure you're asleep before all the fireworks and the drunken singing starts up. Isn't that like noon in the UK, Sharpie? You can't walk to the cave, too far for you? Okay. And by the way, that I'm glad you brought that up, Chewy. And I haven't talked about this in a while. Is when everything is said and done, it happens in Philly every night. Having invasive species is a real problem. It's a real problem on the ecology of our planet, of our waterways, of terra firma, the land. I'm just going to tell you that I have real issues when you go out and you look at some of that stuff. By the way, speaking of NFL today, our college football games have ceased to be interesting. It's Are all the games today on NFL Network? It would seem to me because now the games are basically I have to look that up. Now the college football playoff stuff, that's it's now another few hours here because that Bama game and the Iowa game, they're pretty much out of control at this point. So there you go. I got the schedule here. Kicks off at midnight. Yep, snoring like a train. There you go. Oh, no, there's no professional football today. Okay. May have to watch Andor. I haven't seen that yet. The pike is considered invasive in Colombia. Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes, Chewy, with invasive species, they eventually, just because they realize they're not getting rid of them, that they're just part of the ecology. Unfortunately, there's some fish, for instance, like the northern snakehead, which go out and destroy, the ecosystem where they're at. And the northern snakehead are real big with that. And one of the things having to do, and I read this years ago, and I'm sure it's got to be true. I read it, right? Uh, is that one of the reasons why California has all the wildfires they have is that the grasses that now cover California are predominantly invasive species, which sort of makes sense. It's pike are endemic to the entire northern third of the globe. American hybrid rainbow trout. I'm going to tell you that's one of the other things. The Department's Natural Resources in a lot of states, they've gone in and they have stocked, whether it be rainbow trout, where they're do that, or bass or whatever. And unfortunately, it's ultimately they are hybrid, primarily because they go out and they collect the fish and they artificially fertilize the eggs. So so you're getting cross pollination of bass, even though it's the same largemouth bass or black bass or whatever it is, smallmouth bass. When you're going from two different populations, that's essentially a little bit of hybridization. I found it kind of interesting. I found it very interesting all the way around. Uh, they were talking about they had done some genetic testing with fish that lived on reefs that were apart, but were quote unquote the same fish, the same species. And when they did the DNA testing on this, they found it. They went out and found that the fish were completely unrelated, that they were almost different, totally different species, even though technically it go from there. In fact, they thought it had been thousands of years since they'd been separated in their populations. So there you go. So our DNR, in your lakes or your whatever, they can go out and create all sorts of issues. And speaking of of DNR and how they handle things, I'm under the firm conviction that most states in the United States, one of the problems that we have done, that man created, is that we basically shot many of and killed many of the predators. And now coyotes have spread out because they can live around people. Wolves have been growing over the last about 20, 30 years. Cougars never went anywhere, but they're very secretive, etc. We have so many deer that, and the DNR says, okay, this is how many deer can be harvested in a particular year. And whatever number they're doing, it's not enough. Primarily because now you have a couple of different diseases. Chronic wasting disease being the big one that's spreading all over the place. And so part of that is because of they are too close together. There's way too many deer, and they're intermingling where they would never do it back 200 years ago, 300 years ago. So it's so that's one of the things that we always have to keep in mind. We have to be very careful about it, and our Department of Natural Resources, depending on the state, and I'm sure in Canada, the province, sometimes I don't think they're looking long-term stuff. Hey, our CB's here. What's up, Joe? Petroman 1185 in the house. So hunting and fishing, it's it's pretty important to go out and take care of these things. The English grayling, nothing to be sneezed at. Stunning fish. Let me look that up. Yeah, it is a nice looking fish. Really is. That's great. Yeah, the beaver and the wolves need to be reintroduced. Now, in the United States, wolves were reintroduced in the Yellowstone area, and those packs are expanding out. And the packs are also moving south. It's my sister lives in the Chicagoland area, but right between Chicago and Wisconsin. And I was looking it up. They've had wolves not get too far from where they are, which is fantastic. They've been expanding out the Mexican red wolf, which is great. And again, it's just as much as we can keep everything set up. You're going to have the beavers in your backyard. You're sick of them. Yeah, I get it, but they're good for the environment. Ultimately, really, really good. I get why they're a pain in the neck. It's the natural order of things. And which is sort of the way it should be. And again, humanity, just because of, there are beasts, wolves don't do well with people, is that, or people don't do well with wolves, depending on how you want to say it. We have to go out and deal with them. The Princess of the Stream. There you go. That's a wonderful image. Wonderful image all the way around. Yeah, it's again just taking care of our environment, doing whatever it takes to make it work. And with our aquarium species, remember, never release a fish into the wild. And just never release fish in the wild. That's it. Go to your fish store, drop them off. Don't ask for payment. Let them rehome them. There you go. It's a heck of a deal all the way around. I don't know. Northern snakehead has a lot of attitude. A lot of attitude all the way around. So we're done here. I'm going to do a little cleanup in the kitchen. Then I've got to run a quick errand and get back and do stuff. I'm going to feed fish as soon as we're done. And their first feeding was a little later than normal. I normally feed my fish. I feed 3 times a day, usually at a little after 9, around 1, and then at 5. Olive green. Olive is a good thing. Is a good color. I like it. They're delicious. I like those olives with blue cheese in them. Or olives with the feta cheese. Strong. Strong all the way around. All right, gang. We've been here about an hour. I'm going to go get my junk done. Thank you so much. Happy New Year. And we will see you soon, and have an amazing day.